Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do this video because February is known as Black History Month, and throughout the month I have only seen 3 to 4 people that I've subscribed to mention anything to do with Black history or reading books by Black authors. I find it kind of sad that this has happened, and I had not planned on contributing to this just because I didn't think about it, because if I would have thought about it at the beginning of the month or even last month, I would have really taken time to kind of form this video and possibly have changed up my TBR for the month, because while I did make an effort to put a few Black authors on my TBR for February, it was only maybe like 3 or 4, maybe 2 to 3 even out of my entire list of books that were on my TBR that were by Black authors. And that's on me personally, and I thought I would have saw more about this, and since I didn't, I figured I would just go ahead and make a recommendation videos for books by Black authors about Black people. This is gonna be kind of possibly a long-ish video just because I have quite a few books that I have on this list that I feel like you guys might be interested in picking up, or you might know someone who might be interested in this. It's just kind of a list of books that I have read and books that I have not read, just so you guys know, because I have some that I have on my list that I had intentions on reading or I just have not gotten to yet. I just wanted to talk about some books by Black authors. I just wanted to get these out there, get some recommendations out there for you guys to check out, and also get some back once I post this video up and everything. I do have this split into categories. Mainly they're split up into age categories. I don't feel like I have a lot or enough. Most of the books I have fall into the YA genre. That's because I mainly read YA, and I have been reading YA for quite a while now, so that's why that is. And some of these books are from when I was younger, so if you see some kind of beat up copies, just know they're from when I was younger, and I really didn't take care of my books that well, but I still love them enough, clearly, because they're still with me, because I don't have all of my books that I had from when I was younger. So all of that rambling, don't know if I'm going to keep all of that in, but if I do, sorry about that. But let's just go ahead and get into the books that I have to talk about. So I'm going to start with my children's books. I only have 2, and I read one of them. I remember I had one of these growing up, but I don't know what happened to it, so I recently got another copy because I really remember enjoying this one. And I have another one that was a recommendation. Have not read it or flipped through it yet, but I really would like to plan on it. But the first one of those is Mofaro's Beautiful Daughters, An African Tale by John Steptoe. This is a book I remember having when I was younger. I have not had the chance to reread this one yet, but I think I will definitely make an effort to read this before the month is over. But there is some beautiful artwork in this one, and hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm just really looking forward to this one. And the next one that I believe is geared towards children is Little Leaders, Bold Women in Black History by Vashida Harrison. I'm not really sure if that is a Black author or not, but obviously this is a book about women in Black history, so I figured this was a good one to pick up. This one was recommended to me by a friend. It has like their name, what they were known for, and some information about them, so I think this will be a nice one to look through and to just keep on my shelves. Next, I'm going to go into my poetry collections that I have. I have 3. They're all by the same author. I have only read one of these so far, but the first one is Set the Shotgun to the Head by Saul Williams. And then I also have, I'm not really sure if it's Us and then it's like A as in like adjective or something, or USA. I think it could be a combination of both. And then the last one that I have is The Dead MC Scrolls, and it says The Lost Teachings of Hip Hop. This one, like I said, is also by Saul Williams. The other one that doesn't really fit into a category is actually a coloring book, and that is I Love My Hair by Andrea Pippins. This is a black artist, so I was really happy to when I found that out and was able to support her and her art. But I really enjoyed this one because it has like a lot of different styles, and it has more than just like black women's hair in here. But I feel like that is a big focus because we don't get to see a lot of, well, I don't want to say that, but because lately we've been seeing a lot more positivity when it comes to black women's hair, but it's still like a stigma. And as you can see, that's one of the pictures that I colored. But as you can see, there is a lot of things that are geared towards black women, and I just absolutely love this. And I'm not going to sit and flip through the whole thing, but like I said, black artist coloring book. I know it's probably kind of random to include this on the list, but just in case you guys are interested in this, it is one picture that I do want to show off if I can find it. It's this one. It's like a little girl with two puffs, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I think this is my favorite picture spread that's in this coloring book. So moving on, I am now going to talk about the books that technically fall into like the middle grade category, I believe. The first one that I have is Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. This one follows a girl who was born in New York, but her family is from Nigeria, and she actually moves back to Nigeria, and she's albino, so I believe she gets teased a lot about that. And she finds out that she has magical abilities, and she becomes part of this group. I'm not really sure all the details. I did start reading this because I had an ARC, but then I no longer had access to it, and I was about halfway through, so I was like, I'm just going to restart it, and I haven't gotten to that one yet, or I haven't gotten back to it yet, but it was really good from what I have read so far. And the other two that I believe fall into the middle grade category, one of these, I'm not completely sure if this one falls into middle grade, but it is Who Am I Without Him by Sharon G. Flake. Short stories about girls and the boys in their lives. This is one of the books, like I said, that I had from when I was a lot younger. My mom bought me this, and I don't remember anything about this. I remember reading a lot of Sharon G. Flake's works, and I really enjoyed them, and this was obviously one of the ones that I own. And then the other one was Begging for Change, like I said, also by Sharon G. Flake, and this one actually looks like it is the sequel to Money Hungry. I believe I got Money Hungry from my school library at the time, and then I asked my mom to get me this one, or she got me this one, I can't remember. So yeah, it was another one that I had. I kind of remember something about this one, and yeah, it's just a really old one, and I really enjoyed this author. Excuse like the piece ripped out, don't know what happened there, but yeah, I think just in general, Sharon G. Flake's books are something to check out, or get your younger children, younger girls especially, to read, because I kind of grew up reading her stuff, and like I said, I really enjoyed them. Moving on to my YA section, one that I have to talk about is Jason Akira. This is like my most beat up book, I think, because I read this one quite a few times. This was like one of my favorite books growing up, so just excuse all of this. I did read this one before high school, but like before I was in high school, so I will say, if you have maybe a more mature middle grade reader, or like upper, like lower YA reader, I guess, like 7th, 8th grade, I think is about the time that I read it. If you have someone who can kind of handle the subject, then I would say it's okay for them to read. This one, I remember, follows two different characters. We follow this guy and girl in high school. They're Meek in AP English, and he is a basketball player, and she is really good with science, and she is like working towards this really big scholarship. I believe she's trying to get a scholarship for college or something like that, and he's playing basketball, which he really enjoys, and I think he's also working towards a scholarship for basketball, but he is like in an abusive home, and she comes from a pretty well-off family. I don't know, it was just something about this that I really enjoyed, and it is kind of a romance focused book, but it also deals with real life for these two teens, and I just really love this one. Oh, and I forgot to say, Jason Akira was by Dana Davidson, I believe is her name. cover is torn off where her name was. But I also have another book by her, and that is Played. This book actually takes place in the same world as Jason and Kyra, but this one follows obviously two completely different characters. This one I will say is a little bit more mature because it deals more so with sexual relationships. Now I will say Jason and Kyra also has a sexual relationship between the two main characters, but it's not as significant as it is in this book. I feel like it's a really big focus. The next YA book I have to talk about is a shorter one. This one is The First Part Last by Angela Johnson. I believe this author actually has quite a few books out, but this was the only one I read. This follows this guy who ends up being a single teen father. Him and his girlfriend, obviously they get pregnant, but then I believe she dies during childbirth or soon after or something like that. And he ends up having to take on the responsibility of this newborn by himself. And this one I remember being another one that was really impactful and I really enjoyed. I kind of want to reread this one. The next one that I have is The Keeper's Vow by Francina Simone. This is actually a fellow booktuber, and I won a giveaway for her book, and I started reading this, and I feel so bad because I kept putting it off. And I really want to read it because like I read maybe like the first chapter or two, and I really enjoyed what I had read, but I put it down because it was long, and I think I was reading it for a readathon, and I wanted to pick up something else, or something happened and I put it down, and I still have not picked it back up yet. The next two books I have to talk about are by the same author, and that is Everything Everything and The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I have heard amazing things about this one because I have not read it yet. I have read Everything Everything already, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I have heard amazing things about this one, especially considering that I believe the entire novel takes place in one day. I don't know why I have not picked up this one yet. And the last YA book that I have to mention that I have read is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This was like my favorite book of last year. I have a full review out of this book already, and a lot of people have been talking about it if you have not already heard, which I'm sure you have because I feel like everyone has been talking about The Hate You Give. But this book is absolutely amazing, and it's something that I just was not expecting, and I was so happy that it just gave me everything that I was hoping for and so much more that I wasn't even thinking about. And I'm also really looking forward to Angie Thomas's new book that is coming out this year. It's called On the Come Up. I will put a cover up here. It takes place in the same world, and I believe in the same neighborhood that the main character in this book grows up in. I believe the girl in that book also lives in that same neighborhood. So I'm looking forward to that one because if it's anywhere close to as good as this one, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And the last book that I physically own that is considered a YA novel, have not read it yet, but that is The Bells by Danielle Clayton. Have heard a lot of good things about this one. This one just came out earlier this month, so I have not gotten to it. This one is probably going to be on my TBR for next month because I don't think I'll get to it this month. Now I'm going to be moving into my adult books. I have two romances to talk about, and then I have two kind of literary fiction books to talk about. I think I'm going to start with the literary fiction ones and then leave the romances for last because those are kind of fun. The first literary one that I have to talk about is Native Son by Richard Wright. I read this one for an English class in college. This book made me think a lot, and it's one that I would like to revisit again once it's not a requirement for school. The second one that follows into the literary genre is Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. I have not finished this one yet. I got a few chapters into it. Like I got like a decent section into the book, I believe, but I ended up putting this one down because one, I think it was taking me a while to get through, but also because it was really kind of breaking my heart, and I just needed to take a step back because I wasn't in the right headspace, and I was just like on the verge of crying, and I was at work, and I was just like, I can't do this right now. So I put it down. It's one that I'm definitely going to revisit and, finish, because I think it's something that would be amazing to discuss one day. And I have two that fall into like adult romance category. The first one I don't have a physical copy of because it's not out yet. I do have an e-arc of it, and that is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. Like I said, I have an e-arc of this one, and I am currently reading this book, and I think it is really good so far. It's just a really good, fun romance, and I feel like it's already covering some serious topics about women in the workforce and women in like sciences and like those type of professions. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one continues. I'm about 25% through that one, I think, at the moment. And then the last book that I wanted to mention was The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This one follows a interracial couple, basically. I read this one and I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's one that I feel like is a fun read, but also can get across those topics that need to be discussed sometimes. So I have to be quick with this last little clip because my camera keeps cutting off because it's overheated and now it's on low battery. Anyway, so those are all the books that I had to talk about, or that I wanted to mention that I physically own. I do want to talk about one more. I don't own it yet because it's not out until next month, but that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And I have heard so many amazing things about this book already from people who have had early copies, and I'm just so excited for this one. Like I said, do already have it pre-ordered, and I am really looking forward to it. If you guys have any other recommendations by Black authors in any age category, just any books by Black authors, definitely leave them down in the comments because I want more to check out, and I just want to have discussions about Black authors and just share the love. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.